Hey guys, I'm re-recording this intro post-league because I recorded it pre-league and it was half an hour long and unhinged. Obviously, massive update in terms of being able to actually play Dredge on MTGO. They have added Poxwalkers. It took them 18 months, but finally we have probably the biggest upgrade the deck has seen since the printing of Hogak. And I mean that seriously. Poxwalkers is a really good card. If you don't already own your Poxwalkers, what are you doing? Go out and buy 4 copies. Before all of that, let's get into the most important thing. I have been streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/the_daddy. Follow me there. I stream at an incredibly irregular basis. And so far, I've not enabled VODs. I might change my mind on enabling VODs, but I feel like my stream's unhinged. But come along, vibe. I play bad music. I make worse plays. And it's a lot of fun. So please follow me, twitch.tv/the_daddy. That is where you can find me streaming. And I look forward to seeing you all there. Okay, let's talk about this. So, Poxwalkers. Obviously, for those that aren't aware, Poxwalkers is a 3/1 Death Toucher. Whenever you cast a spell anywhere other than your hand, return Poxwalkers from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Why is that good? Because it gives us another creature that can come into the battlefield during the main phase the same turn you go off. So before, we were pretty much all Narcomoeba. There are other cards that you could run, like Prized Amalgam or Silver Smoke Ghoul. They all came in the end step. Poxwalkers comes in basically with no cost. Casting a spell from the graveyard is a cost. You can't hit it all the time, but you can hit it more than the other ones. And the other interesting thing about Poxwalkers, the way it's worded, is if you sacrifice it to Cabal Therapy or Dread Return, the card comes back before the spell resolves, and then you can loop it again, like Hogak. What does this mean? This encourages a few things. One, it encourages more turbo strategies. For those that aren't aware, Muffers Van Gogh has been pushing forth a turbo list using a fetch dual mana base with Anger and Duskana. I don't like Duskana very much as a Dread Return target, but I think what he's doing with Anger is really cool. I recommend checking him out. He has a YouTube channel, The Dredge Guy. He's the guy to go for that kind of list. Personally, for me, I still prefer the less turbo style list. It's possible that having fetches and jewels is actually better at the moment with Anger, and I should be running an Anger. The Poxwalkers really does improve that sort of strategy, but that's not what we're trying out today. This is what I think is like current stock LED Dredge with the gold land mana base. I came to this after a while of testing. This is what I was testing with for a while. I like this sort of number ratio. I registered something very similar in a paper tournament. I actually went -1 gaze, +1 breakthrough. But the sideboard was pretty much the same as what you see here. I think I ran a Memory's Journey over the second Lightning Axe. I didn't do very well in that paper tournament, but I played against a few bad matchups and made some poor plays. So I'm not going to hold that against myself. However, this was running good. However, I then went on a 16-game loss streak, including a challenge and leagues, and I went through a mental breakdown. So I went a bit back to the drawing board, and I was like, okay. The other thing that was different, this list has 4 thugs. I was playing 3 thugs for a while, so I was like -1 gaze, +1 breakthrough, -1 thug. I can't even remember what I was plus, but this isn't the exact thing I registered in paper. This is slightly bit different. Yeah, so this list was running okay, but I was not super happy after I went on the 16-game loss streak. I was like, this is good, but I feel like it can be better. So I went back to the drawing board and I came up with this, which has been running really well. I've really liked this. I managed to make space for the fourth thug, which I was on 3 for a long time, but I didn't like it. I had like basically like this. I was like 3 Poxwalkers, but I came to the conclusion that you could get away with 2 Poxwalkers if you run 2 Oxes. So let me talk about the choices here. We're up to 4 City of Brass. Why are we up to 4 City of Brass? We have 2 Oxes and we have a copy of Gaze. This is a lot of cards that incentivize having 2 lands in play. And keeping your lands on the board. I have not. The other thing that's interesting at the moment is the tempo decks are not lightning bolt decks. The most popular tempo decks at the moment is Scaminator, and that does not bolt you. So your life total isn't as pressured as it has been in the past. We've got the standard Lotus Petal 4 Lion's Eye Diamonds. Not going to talk about that. We're down to 1 Putrid Imp. Why are we down to 1 Putrid Imp? Well, we only have 2 Icarids to feed, so we don't need as much Icarid food. Before we had 4 Icarids. Now we're down to 2. We can get away with cutting some black creatures. What have we got in exchange? We've gone up to 3 Careful Studies. Why have we gone up to 3 Careful Studies? Because we've gone down to 2 Breakthroughs. I'll talk about why we've done that in a sec. We've got 1 Otherworldly Gaze. Otherworldly Gaze I'm not entirely sold on. I've tested a bunch of numbers. I was on 3. Mufuz Van Gogh's really heavy on this. His turbo list played 4, but now he's since cut down to 3 and put a Breakthrough in. I'm not that hot on this card. I think the card's good. The card does some really nice things against... it gets better the more Poxwalkers you have. If you have 3 Poxwalkers, I think playing a second one of these is more justified. I think if you only have 2 copies of Poxwalkers, I don't think the card's that good. Which is the reason why I'm currently on 1 copy, but it does have some very nice properties. The main thing being it can return your Poxwalkers instant speed. Why is this relevant? Because you can do situations where if you go land, Breakthrough, crack Lion's Eye Diamond, if you have blue, if you crack it for blue, when you dredge, if they have endurance and they try and endurance you in response to your Narcomoeba triggers, you can flashback Gaze and return your Poxwalkers to the battlefield. If you only have 2, that probably won't win you the game. But if you get 3 in play, that's actually very conceivably going to win you the game. So Gaze is very nice at playing around endurance. However, I will say right now, endurance is at an all-time low, and we'll talk about that in the sideboard. 1 Putrid Imp. This makes me sad, but some things had to be cut to make space to fit the new package that I'm running, and that is one of the cards. Narcomoeba, Thug, nothing to talk about there. You could play 3 Thugs if you wanted to make space. I think it's doable. However, consistently I've played this deck for a very long time, and I think while it's not necessary to have 12 dredgers, you across a tournament will appreciate having the 4th Thug. It is very good into surgical matchups. Just having the number of dredgers, having 8 dredgers after a surgical instead of 7 is very nice. And you're playing, the deck is called Dredge. You should be maxing out on the good dredgers, is the general consensus over many years of playing Dredge. So it is, you can get away with cutting 1, but honestly, whenever I can fit it in, I want to be playing 12. 2 Poxwalkers. I was playing 3. I went down to 2 because I wanted to fit a second Ox of Agonis in. Why are we up to 2 Ox of Agonis? 1, it returns Poxwalkers. 2, it enables this sort of turbo package. Because Poxwalkers comes into play on the same turn for very little cost, you can enable Dread Return more easily because it's easier to hit the 3 creature threshold to Dread Return. This means that Ox is good because it's a target that you can Dread Return, and there's sort of this idea of if you have 2 Dread Returns and then an Ox and then a target, this is sort of a package, and it will allow you to turbo through your deck, and either you hit the Dread Return and the target, or you hit the Dread Return and the Ox, and then the Dread Return and the Ox finds you the other target and the other Dread Return. That's sort of the idea behind it. This is Dredge theory going back a long time, and the maths does... The maths does agree with it. Having 2 and 2 is dramatically more likely to hit your target at a reasonable pace, whereas opposed to doing 2 and 1 or 1 and 2. There's not a massive improvement on 2 and 1 and 1 and 2 versus 1 and 1. But if you have 2 and 2, that is an actual mathematical improvement in terms of that. Maybe one day I'll do like a Dredge math video and talk about that in more detail. 2 Icarids, I think you still want to be running Icarid. I think Muffers Van Gogh's pretty crazy to run 0 copies, and actually in his very most recent list, which wasn't actually live at the time that I recorded this, but I have seen recently, he's put an Icarid in the main deck. Yeah, I think he was getting away. I think that was a bit cheeky, and I think people realised that was a bit cheeky, and you shouldn't be able to get away with that. Because if you surgical bridge against that list, there was very little that it could do. Very little that it could do. It didn't have the threat density, and I'm big about threat density. I think this deck it is at its strongest when you dredge and you hit meaningful cards. There is a fine ratio between the balance of enablers and payoffs in order to get a consistent deck, and that's what I'm going to talk about now with Oxyvagonus. Oxyvagonus is a very interesting card because it's an enabler and a payoff, especially now. Before it was like, oh, you put an Oxyvagonus into play and it's like a 5/3 and it's all right, but it's not great. But now your Oxyvagonus, if you cast it, returns Poxwalkers. It's also good because it increases your chance of not bricking on finding a Lion's Eye Diamond. This is good. It was also some thinking I was having about, well, if Dread Return's good and Dread Return's worth doing, we want targets, and Ox is a good target. But also, what about if instead of drawing our enablers, what about if instead of drawing our breakthroughs, we just dredge into an Ox? So instead of saying I'm going to do something turn 1 and then turn 2 I'm going to break through, what if you just dredge into an Ox and then Ox on turn 2? With Poxwalkers, that's better because Ox returns Poxwalkers. Hitting Ox earlier is nicer. I've been enjoying the second Ox. Also, because Hogak is less required now, that's the really big thing about Poxwalkers. Hogak is obviously a nice card. It's still in the sideboard. I think you should run it in your 75, but it's not necessary main deck. From what I've found from playing, I don't know how many matches I played, probably over 100, well over 100. I've not missed Hogak in the main deck since I cut it. I started with Hogak in the main deck, and then I quickly found with Poxwalkers it wasn't necessary, so I shifted it to the sideboard. The Poxwalkers have been basically doing a Hogak impression, which is good enough main deck. Sideboard, you do want a Hogak. It's helpful, and I'll talk about why. But having 2 Oxes is good. So you could kind of think about it like instead of 4 Icarids, we now have 2 Poxwalkers and 2 Icarids. And instead of Ox and Hogak, you now have 2 Oxes. And then we've trimmed a breakthrough for a Dread Return. But the Dread Return can be an enabler by returning an Ox. We've gone down to 2 breakthroughs. This makes me kind of sad, but with the extra Ox, it kind of compensates for the loss of breakthrough. And we also have an extra study because we were able to trim on Putrid Imp. So we've not actually lost draw power. What we've lost is a bit of the consistency of Putrid Imp in certain matchups. But the matchups where Putrid Imp are good aren't super represented currently at the moment. So that's sort of the main deck. Let's talk about the sideboard. Hogak, this card is not as good as it has been in terms of the looping. It's lost its niche in terms of looping therapies. You can do that with Poxwalkers, and in fact Poxwalkers is sometimes better because if you hit 1 Narcomoeba, 1 therapy, you can't loop, but with Poxwalkers you can. You don't get as impressive as a board, but you can still loop it. However, Hogak is very good at playing through Trinisphere, playing through Containment Priest, and just being good in the blue matchups where they aren't running Reanimate. You do not want to bring this in any deck where they run Reanimate. It's a liability. But in the decks where they aren't running Reanimate, and they're blue, you want to bring in Hogak. Ashen Rider's Ashen Rider. Let's not talk about the anti-hate cards yet. Terror of the Peaks. I was testing Terror of the Peaks. Terror of the Peaks is what I run in this league. I've came to the conclusion, partly due to this league, that I think Terror of the Peaks is actually probably not as good of a target as Doomscar Titan. But you can kind of take your pick here. It could be Flare of the Hatebound for the guaranteed damage. I think Doomscar's the best overall, slightly, but I'm not exactly excited by any of them. Lightning Axe, I talk about Lightning Axe a lot in my previous video. I recommend checking that out. But Lightning Axe, I think, is still really well positioned. Now, here's the second Dread Return to do that thing I talked about with 2 Dread Returns, an Ox and a target, or even 2 Oxes on a target. Sometimes I cut, if I really want to go fast, I cut 2 Icarids, bring in Dread Return, bring in Terror of the Peaks, and that's sort of my turbo strategy. And then you could even cut the Putrid for a Hogak if you want. That's like really crazy. 2 Leyline of the Voids, I'm greedy, but we also have a Memory's Journey. Memory's Journey good against Doomsday, good against Painter, which is had an uptick because they've got Chaos Defiler now. It's also good against the Scaminator matchups. I don't like bringing Leyline of the Void in against Scaminator. The way that you lose that matchup is Dothy Voidwalker, but it is nice to have a card that you can dredge into that sort of messes with them. Pick your poison. I am testing because currently Delver players are running 2 or 3 copies of Grafdigger's Cage in the sideboard, and that one Grafdigger's Cage you don't respect, but 2 or 3 you have to respect. So I'm testing it out. They can sacrifice the Grafdigger's Cage, or you can make them sacrifice a flipped Delver or a Delirious Dragon's Rage Channeler. Nature's Claim's great. Chain of Vapor really good because there's a lot of decks running Dothy Voidwalker and Leyline of the Void. 1 Leyline of Sanctity. Endurances are all-time lows, but I think in this league this card shows it worth. There should probably be another copy of it in this sideboard. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we have to trim. I don't want to trim Ashen Rider, but there's something needs to go to fit another copy of this, but it is what it is. Portable Hole, again, another card, probably the only card actually that's good against both. This is the best sideboard card against Delver, Portable Hole, because it answers Cage, it answers unflipped Dragon's Rage Channeler and Delver, and it can't get messed around with by having a Bauble in play. This card is actually really good. Specifically against Delver. However, Delver is already a good matchup. However, when they're running 3 cages, we have to respect it. Portable Hole is what it is. It's pretty good. And yeah, the other thing, Pick Your Poison, obviously, is a card that can just answer Leyline. Each opponent sacrifices an enchantment. I've not been punished by having that mode versus just it being a Nature's Claim. And yeah, I tried to do this quick, but it still took like nearly 20 minutes. It was 30 minutes before, so I mean, I've saved 10 minutes of your life, so you can thank me for that. Remember, twitch.tv/the_daddy. Follow me there. I'll try and make more YouTube videos. My schedule's always been insane, but I appreciate you all for watching. This is a great league, so I can say that because I've already played it. I know it's a good one. So thank you all for watching. I won't spoil anything. Please enjoy it, and remember to do all the YouTube algorithm stuff. Thank you all for watching. Alright, round 1. I mean, I don't mulligan this, even if it does kind of hilariously lose to a well-timed Force of Will. Why well-timed? I mean poorly timed, but everybody is smart enough to counter the Lion's Eye Diamond. What are we thinking? I feel like that's such bait, playing out the Lotus Petal. They probably have a crop rotation. I'm just going to discard the Thug. Maybe that's mad. I can believe that's mad. I'm hoping they like tap out here. They think our hand's slow. Oh, they have bog in hand. Okay. Well, that means they don't have a bog. They might have echoing deeps though. That's a big problem card. Oh, there's the crop rotation. There's Airborg. Oh, there's Vampire Hexmage. Oh, there's a 2020. Can we draw a Dredger? No. I mean, we're dead if we do nothing, so... Maybe we should have tried to go off there, but I mean... The fact they had the bog... yeah. Oh! Do we have enough cards in graveyards to do the Ox? We do! Isn't that nice? Now, we only have 2 Narcomoebas left in deck. 1, 2, 3. We can Dread Return here. I will name Crop Rotation. If they have Sujiri Step in hand, we're just dead. Tamio Safekeeping. Dread Return Ox. My plan here is to hit more stuff so that we can kill them next turn. This obviously relies on dredging into a Narcomoeba, but I think the odds are good enough here that it's worthwhile. Obviously, yes, this is showing off why Poxwalkers is a good card, especially when combined with Dread Return, and we did not hit the Narcomoeba. Awesome. We could have Dread Return a Stinkweed Imp there. We'd have had 10 power on board. We'd have then had to dredge into a Narcomoeba the turn after, which obviously we didn't. Feel like overall that was a slightly higher EV play. But yeah, obviously it didn't pay off here. It is what it is. We'll go to the next game. We'll go to the next game. Obviously this is a matchup where we really like Leyline of Sanctity, but we don't have any, such as life. I do like Ashen Rider in this matchup still. Over Terror of the Peaks, I think. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe Ashen Rider is actually better. The good thing about Ashen Rider is it can be a blocker. I'm going to bring in some Chain of Vapors as well. It's a good card to answer Marit Lage and a potential Leyline of the Void, which is something that I'm afraid of. I will trim down an Icarid because it's not a grindy matchup. I think I will also trim down a Careful Study. I could trim down a Thug. Maybe a Thug's actually better. Maybe we're too low on enablers here. Maybe something like this is nice. The good thing about having we can cut black cards more freely because we don't have as many Icarids now as we did before. This hand is good, but it is not great against Turbo Depths, but I think I'll keep it anyway just because it's good. And I'm like, do we want the Dread Return? Like, realistically, how likely are we to play out a third land this game? Probably not super likely, but also it's nice to have a mana confluence. I don't really want to bottom a Cephalid Colosseum here. I think we do bottom the Dread Return, but I could believe I will regret that later. But we do have 2 in deck, so it's not the end of the world. I'm just hoping we don't get leylined here. We did not get leylined. Nice, nice, nice. There's the Leyline of Sanctity, which I will actually bin to play around a potential Bajuka Bog. Sure, go ahead. I mean, I'm just gonna dredge here. One, two, three. Oh, nice, we have Poxwalkers. I'll keep a Grave Troll. I will bin the Icarid here. If they've got Endurance or Elvish Spirit going into crop rotation, good on them. I feel like if they had crop rotation, they wouldn't have played how they've just done. So I'm actually not going to name crop rotation. I think I'm going to name Vampire Hexmage. Yeah, there we go. And that's good because I made that kind of soul read. I get to take the other card of the Sylvan Scrying. Nice! Oh yeah, so let's talk briefly about why I'm prioritizing keeping Otherworldly Gaze in. Otherworldly Gaze is kind of nice. It lets us set our draws up over a careful study. It kind of feels like a Putrid Imp style roll. Though obviously it isn't quite as good as Putrid Imp at what it does, but it's that's kind of the intention of keeping the gaze in over the study. But again, I'm still new with this list. I'm still like trying stuff out, so. Oh, that's funny. You can make them sacrifice Merit Lage, though if they're smart, they'll make it instant speed. You can actually portable hold Merit Lage. Again, not super relevant because how we lose is. Again, they can make it instant speed, but that is funny. That is funny. They kept 7. Our 6 is unkeepable. Ooh! Bottom. Let's not get leylined. We didn't get leylined. We're doing it! We're doing it! Draw an Archimedes. Ah, yeah! I don't respect Fairy Macabre. I'm discarding both. We could get Fairy Macabre here, but I'm not. I'd rather have the second Dredger in the graveyard in case they have Surgical, if you know what I mean. So they can they make a 20/20 here? Green, no, they don't have enough. They don't have enough mana. Unless they have a Elvish Spirit Guide in hand, in which case they do have enough mana, which is kind of scary. We got the Cephalid Colosseum here. We bricked on Dredges, but it's fine because we drew Lion's Eye Diamond because we're really skilled at the game. What is this? What are you crop rotation for? If it's Bajuka Bog, you're going to be disappointed, opponent. Sorry, I'm a bit sniffly today, if you can't tell. I have a little bit of a sore throat. Just a normal cold, I believe. Opponent, what are you doing? Okay, they didn't get Bajuka Bog. I don't know why. I don't know why they did that. Did they forget I had that in play? They definitely should have tapped the Dark Depths for mana before activating crop rotation. Even if it's only to bluff that they could potentially make a 20/20 here. Because now I don't need to worry about that so much. Jeez Louise, where are our bridges and where, oh where are our dread returns? The M&M crop rotation again. That was a very aggressive use of crop rotation by my opponent. They do have the Elvish Spirit Guide. And they just chose not to tap the Dark Depths for green. They could have made a 20/20 here. I guess they just didn't tap the thing in time, I suppose. Exile that. Oh, I missed the Putrid Imp. That would have been a better thing to exile. Still can't have a Dread return to save our life, even with 2 in the deck. That is a very perplexing block. Sack the Poxwalkers, return the Poxwalkers. Nice, nice, nice. And again, I'm going to name crop rotation here. They could have Sylvan Scrying, but I'm going to name crop rotation. Actually, given they've got Elvish Spirit Guide, I think I will name Sylvan Scrying. They have a crop rotation in the graveyard. Okay, that's fine. Just don't draw either Silver Scrying or crop rotation, because if you do, we lose the game. They can go up to 14 next turn with the Tamiyo's safekeeping. We can swing for... Okay. We swing for everything. I believe we still have lethal, so I will. They block Ox, they take 9, 10, 15, gain 2, go up to 14. Doesn't save them. Drop. Nice. Awesome. Leyline of Sanctity is still good, it seems. Right, we are doing well. We keep drawing nuts hands. Blue deck. I don't like that. I don't want to get my... I don't want to play out land to get my Lion's Eye Diamond countered. Basic Island. I'm just going to discard Grave Troll to hand size here. I feel like if our Lion's Eye Diamond gets countered, which it should get countered, our turn 1 is very bad. So it's better just to play it slowly here, I think. There's very little risk to playing it slowly, as long as we don't dredge on brick on dredges next turn. I mean, that's a problem. That's a problem. Well, why is this basic island brainstorm into... Oh my God. Jesus. Right, can we get him with the old Seven Colosseum? Haha. If you're going to kill me turn 1, I'm going to be very unimpressed. They have to have a draw spell after this Doomsday. Literally use all 7 cards in their hand. I'm going to be so ridiculously unimpressed here. Almost incomprehensibly unimpressed. Let me check what the Doomsday players are on recently. Doomsday's kind of fallen out of the meta recently. I think because of Scaminator, which seems like a hard matchup for them, because Reanimator was always a tough matchup for Doomsday. And then Scaminator's like that, but they also have Force and Daze. Okay, we gotta play the game. We will take this. We will have this. As long as our last card isn't Daze, we're gaming. We are gaming. Now we pass the turn. We don't have any way to kill them on our turn, even if we cast a breakthrough. So the best thing we can do is hold up this Seven Colosseum. They are now dead. They are now dead. They are now dead. They are now dead. Oh, don't want to do that. There we go. So Doomsday is interesting. Doomsday players either have 4 Leyline of the Voids in their sideboard or no Leyline of the Voids in the sideboard. A very weird sideboarding situation from the Doomsday players. I will hedge against them having Leyline. Memory's Journey is obviously fine. Board out the slow cards. Icarid I actually don't think is a terrible card in the matchup. By all means, I just want to try this turbo strat out. This is more of an experiment. I'm going to have 2. I don't want to overboard for Leylines. I don't want to overboard for Leylines. That they might not have. It's got a Cephalid Colosseum and it can play the game, so I'll keep it. Maybe this is too slow, but Cephalid Colosseum is very nice. Turn on Dark Ritual Doomsday. It's alright for some. This is good because we'll get to see what their sideboarding is, so we can decide whether we want to keep. We can decide whether we want to keep. We can decide whether we want to keep the Leyline answers or not. This is my favourite part about playing against Doomsday, by the way, the bit where they have to sit and just try and arrange 5 cards to try and beat every conceivable option that their opponent could potentially have. It's really horrendous game design. Oh, they do have ley lines. We were right to be afraid. Seemingly only 2. Seemingly only 2, which is very uncommon. Unless they put some in their pile, but I mean, they'd have to be very big brain to put ley lines in their pile. I mean, we're almost definitely dead next turn, but I kind of want to see what cards, if we see some more info. Also, there's a potential that we're not dead this turn if their hand's like really, really bad. But realistically, we're dead this turn. Why are you thinking on this consider? Surely you've already made your pile. You should already know whether this card that needs to go in your graveyard or not. Did you mess your pile up? You just put a Lotus Petal in the graveyard. That doesn't seem correct. Seems like you want to draw that Lotus Petal. Right, I think we're getting one of them games. One of those ones. We can return this Narcomoeba without it causing us any issues. We can play a Cephalid Colosseum, and we can pass the turn. No point doing this now. In case they have Stifle or something silly. Kill them. Right, well, our opponent didn't know how to play the game, so that benefited us greatly. I feel like an experienced Doomsday player would definitely have killed us there. But we'll take the win. Better lucky than good. Right, round 3. Unkeepable 7. I mean, it wasn't unkeepable, but I mean, it wasn't good. We can do better. Unkeepable 6 and unkeepable 5. You kind of forced to keep this. You don't really want to keep it, but it is what it is. Stack it with the Cabal Therapy at the top because that is the most relevant card. Once you've gotten to the bottom of your deck, you don't care about either of the dredges, and then you've got to stack 2 dredges, and the better dredger to have is the black card on top because that means that your Icarid has food. Realistically, this won't come up, but when it does come up, it's good to know that you've stacked the cards in the right order prior to that. So you can just like slam the button and just stack them in any order, but it's generally better just to think a tiny amount when you're stacking the bottom cards of your deck. It doesn't come up, but you'll be glad when it does. So they pitch Portent, but me as a very smart MTGO grinder knows that the Juju Bean Rug Delver list runs 1 copy of Portent, and we would really like to draw a land here, but we have not. We'd have liked to have drawn a land the previous turn, but we did not. We would have liked to have drawn an opening hand with more than 1 land, but we did not. The good thing is we did draw Cavalry Study, which was a pretty good draw. Now if we draw any land in our deck, we can do something. We are not out of this game, though the brainstorm is making it increasingly likely that we are. But sometimes you mult us 4 because your hand is bad. And to be fair, our 7 would have lost to this as well. I'm not going to play that out. I'm going to wait till we draw a land. I'm going to be very disciplined. There is no point slamming your Lion's Eye Diamond into a daze. We are on 19 life. We can take some damage. Lotus Petal's good. Lotus Petal is good. I don't want to get my Lotus Petal dazed, though, really. I think we wait. It is very interesting. If things were more dire, I would play out the Lotus Petal, but they've got 3 cards in hand, one of which is a breakthrough, brainstorm. We can wait. Maybe waiting's wrong here. It's very close. If this was a looting instead of a study, I would play the petal out here. However, because it's not, and if the Lotus Petal gets countered, our hand doesn't do anything. Where, I mean, you can play Lion's Eye Diamond, but it's not especially good. What is that? Unholy Heat plus Lightning Bolt. That's a yikes. Okay, now they only have 2 cards in hand, so our odds are better. Post Brainstorm, by the way. Murktide. Okay. Okay. I'll go for it. I'll bite. Oh, that's a really good draw. That's a really good draw. It is generally correct. I mean, they don't have Fon here, so it really doesn't matter. I guess I'll play the looting. They don't have Fon, so it doesn't matter. Nice, we hit Ox, which plays around days if they have days. A lot of Delver players, I think the highly experienced Delver players would have dazed me when I cast that Lion's Eye Diamond. I think maybe the less experienced Delver players might not have. We need to hit an Alchemy, but oh, thank God we did. I was going to say that would have been a very embarrassing way to lose this game if we didn't hit single Narcomoeba there. Thankfully, we hit 1, which is not great, but better than 0. We cannot sack the Narcomoeba because we will die. I will name Lightning Bolt because that is the scariest card, bar none. Lightning Bolt. It is a Delver of Secrets. We will take the Delver of Secrets. How many Icarids do we have in the graveyard? 1. I think we win this. It's very close. There are a lot of ways we don't win this. Our opponent draws any removal spell, we lose. Our opponent draws a reasonable blocker, we lose. Actually, let's think about this. Let's do the maths. The best blocks they can make are Poxwalkers, Icarid, Zombie, and we can keep up the Narcomoeba. If they're forced to block Poxwalkers, do they have to block Poxwalkers or die? They block Icarid and 2 zombies. They'll take 17. No? No? Is that wrong? No, they'll take 15. They'll take 15, 16 if I swing with an Narcomoeba. So they can stay. They can avoid blocking Poxwalkers if they want to. Opponent's slow rolling me and they've top decked Lightning Bolt. And they're just attacking and they're going to Lightning Bolt and attacks. Any attack here is wrong because it gives me more zombies, which guarantees their death. If they can't, if they've drawn a blocker, they should stay back with everything. I mean, I make this block. I'm not gonna not make this block. I'd be crazy not to make this block. I'd be crazy not to make that block. It's just that easy. Alright, let's see what Mr. Jujubee is sideboarding. I'm fairly certain it will be multiple copies of Grafdigger's Cage. Legacy. 2 Grafdigger's Cage and a Soul Guide Lantern. Okay. So in that case, the Portable Hole's coming in. The Hogak's coming in. Dread Return's not so great. Oxwagonus not so great. Lightning Axe coming in. Lightning Axe is very good. Cut a Breakthrough. Cut a Poxwalkers. I don't really like that. Maybe recut a Study. I think that's okay, because Lightning Axe is really another enabler here. I'm still not quite sure. I like this. I like this, actually. Multiple lands, answer to Cage. Just cast a Looting, I think. I could cast Cabal Therapy here, but given I have a Study in hand as well, I'm happy with that. There's an interesting question on, do you want to cast Study or Looting there? Generally in those sort of situations it's better to cast Looting, because if you draw, you can't cast Looting off of a Cephalid Colosseum, but you can cast Study off of a second Cephalid Colosseum. The other thing that's interesting specifically in the Delver matchup is if you play out Looting and you have no other mana to play around Daze, really they would like to Daze your Looting, but if they've got a Fon in hand, they would also like to Fon your... well, that's nice. I'll cast that. I hate Dragon's Rage Channeler. I hate Dragon's Rage Channeler. This is amazing! I hate Dragon's Rage Channeler. Friendship ended with Dragon's Rage Channeler. I hate that card. Jeez, I hate... like, Ragavan justifiably banned, but I think in a lot of ways, actually, the real egregious card is actually... watch me discard this Pick Your Poison, and then they play a Grafdigger's Cage. I don't believe that, though. I think that's fake. I think that's fake. I'm going to discard the Pick Your Poison. But I know, knowing my luck, they'll draw Cage off the top, like natural Cage, and we'll regret our life choices playing both the Portable Hole and discarding the Pick Your Poison. Or they'll play Murktide here, and we could have made them sack them, which would have been very funny. That would have been very funny. Kill your Murktide with Pick Your Poison. That would have been very funny. That would have been the first time I'd ever done that as well. Good content, but I think this is correct. More mana is good. You heard it here first. Mana is good. They are drawing so many cards. Did they shuffle? Yes, they did. Okay, that's interesting. So this is interesting because we can insulate ourselves from Surgical with the Lotus Petal, because we're going to get... This will put us to 6 cards in graveyard. Because I was going to Therapy them, but then I looked at it and I was like, they can't Surgical us here. So I'm just gonna play it out. And now if they try and Surgical us, we just crack Lotus Petal and Cephalid Colosseum in response. Oh, opponent. What were you thinking? Why did you do that? Why did you do that, opponent? What were you thinking? I mean, our dredges were atrocious, which is sad. That gets countered. There's no way this breakthrough resolves, though. Realistically, this should get countered. This should be the easiest. What is in my opponent's hand? And other exciting questions. I mean, What is in your hand? What is in your hand? What's in your hand? We'll never know. We will never get to know. If there isn't a sadder thing, I don't know what is. Then we'll never know what was in their hand. If I was to guess, I'd probably say like lightning bolt. Maybe a force of will with no blue card. Lightning bolt, force of will with no blue card. And what would their last card be? I can't even comprehend. Maybe a land. That was bad. That was rough for the opponent. All right, round 4. We're currently undefeated. We shouldn't say that though. That'll jinx it. This hand is. If we had a dredger, I would keep this. However, we don't have a dredger, so I'm gonna send it back. Ooh, no land though. Mulligan. Ooh, we can do better on 4. We didn't do better on 4. Can we do better on 3? I don't think so. So we'll bottom. Good thing is we have 2 Oxes and we have 2 mana sources. And we can play around days. So it could be worse. But realistically, this is not good. I hate us as Saga. It's fine. We'll just draw out of it. We also bottomed an Archimedes and then drew an Archimedes, but that's really great. I really like that as well. Stinkweed imp. Yeah, Stinkweed imp. Ooh, Stinkweed imp. Such is life. Just won them games. Just won them games. Oh, is this the blue-black scam saga list? Oh my god, it is. I hate it. This is actually atrocious for us. This is not good for us. This is the Juju Bean, not Juju Bean. This is the list that won the most recent challenge as of the timing of me filming this video. Wombo Combo 2020. No longer a 14-year-old child. I believe they're now an adult. But they were renowned for being 14 years old and beating all of the professional Magic the Gathering players on MTGO, which I found very funny. They are a very good player. They have beaten me multiple times in the past. Yeah, there's Nihil Spellbomb. They have multiple Nihil Spellbombs in the sideboard, which is interesting. Maybe if that's a thing, we need to go back to having more than one Leyline of Sanctity in the sideboard. You see, the MTGO meta is a constant race. And right now, as of 2 days ago, Leyline of Sanctity is back because the challenge winning list has Nihil Spellbomb in the main and 2 Nihil Spellbombs in the board and 0 other pieces of graveyard hate. So yeah, we should probably be playing more than one Leyline of Sanctity this league, but it is what it is. And they'll cast Orcish Bowmasters in response to this careful study, probably. Yeah. That's Orcish Bowmasters, alright. I mean, I'm not going to scoop this, but I think this is very over. The good thing about this matchup is no Dothy Voidwalkers, and they don't have access to a Traxor, which is another annoying card that these decks normally have access to. The bad thing is they have us on a 3-turn clock. Does currency converter trigger when you cycle Lorien revealed? Because if it does, I hate that. I hate that. It's really gross, actually. Yeah, it does. I hate that. You gonna crack? Pick Your Poison isn't even very good in this matchup. I mean, it can make them sacrifice Saga, but like, it's not really where you want to be. Nature's Claim's better, I think, overall. I have to let them draw before I cast the Gaze. Yeah. I think I Gaze in their upkeep. I'll Gaze now. Not good. Not good. I feel like I don't know if they did this intentionally or unintentionally. I feel like whenever the Saga decks and the blue decks start becoming one, they ban something. Like there was the Ragavan Saga decks, and then they banned Ragavan. I guess there's Cephalid Breakfast, but that's not really a blue deck. That's like a funny combo deck that happens to run Saga because it fetches up one of the combo pieces. I wouldn't call it like a strict Saga deck. Oh, that's very funny. Isn't that funny? Look, you can brainstorm in response to the Urza Saga trigger. We're just getting bodied over here. Absolutely bodied. We're having fun here, guys. We're having fun. Not sure if I want to bring in Hogak. You generally don't want to get your Hogak reanimated if you can avoid it. I'm going to take a natural draw. It's the fourth Narcomoeba in our deck. Maybe the third. One of them. Okay, well that was a match where we basically did nothing and our opponent played very slowly, so that was fun all round. We definitely want this. We probably don't care about this. Do we want to do anything else? I guess we could bring in Nature's Claim, it remove Saga. It's kind of whatever. I kind of like having two Oxes. Ox isn't a card like I'm like really. I'd like to bring in Hogak in this matchup, but I think it's bad against Reanimate. Obviously, they can reanimate Ox, but it's nowhere near as spooky. I'm just gonna run this. Just gonna run this. I could cut a Thug, but I don't really want to. This list is not set up to deal with decks with multiple Nihil spell bombs. We should have a second Leyline of Sanctity. In fact, after this league, I'm probably going to add a second Leyline of Sanctity now that I've seen that that deck won the most recent challenge. Should at least be 2 copies. I don't know how many I'd actually want to bring in this matchup if they got 3 Nihil spell bombs. Those turn off Grief as well. Do they have Thoughtseize? No, they don't have Thoughtseize. But turning off Gaze is nice. Alright, let's see what we're dealing with. Yeah, I'll keep this. If this Lions Eye Diamond resolves, I'm just running it. I'm just going straight in. No messing around. Anyone should counter this Lions Eye Diamond in the blind, I think. Yeah, I think this Lions Eye Diamond should get countered. Maybe they have Fawn, but I ain't playing around that. They got 2 Fawns at the board. I don't know. I'm just gonna run it out. If I get fouled, whatever, I get fouled. Thank you. This is another spot. Obviously, they don't have anything here, but this is another spot where having the Poxwalkers is nice, because if they'd have exiled our Narcomoebas there, we could have still got Poxwalkers back with the Faithless Looting, and then we could have done stuff this turn. We have 4, count them, 4 Cabal Therapies. Nihil Spellbomb, none. You are losing every single card in your hand. That keep is wild. Ponder, be gone. Mishra's Bauble. Sometimes you just got to check they're still playing fair, you know what I mean? Sometimes they keep these garbage hands and they expect you to respect their force of wills. Back in the good old day, that's what you used to do all day, and then the fun spoilers, Wizards of the Coast HQ printed Force of Negation, and then the maths was no longer in the side of the degenerate combo decks. Before it was like, it's a 40% chance, maybe they won't have it, and Yeah. I think I was umming about whether the portable hull is better than Nature's Claim. I don't think it is. I was also umming about whether the breakthrough is better than Nature's Claim. That's more questionable. That's more questionable. I think if I didn't have the breakthrough on the play, I shouldn't have it on the draw. Right, this hand sucks. Don't trick yourself into keeping hands like that. Oh, this hand's gas. Right, this Ley Line of Sanctity has been absolutely carrying us this league. We should definitely put a second copy in the deck. I'm just so greedy. You just draw it when you need it. Like, I knew I was going to draw Putrid Imp, Faithless Looting, Goldland, Lion's Eye Diamond, Grave Troll. So obviously the game gave me the 6th card of Leyline of Sanctity, so that I could win the game. It's just that easy. It's just that easy. Ba-bam. Alright. Alright. See you, brass. Lion's Eye Diamond. Opponent chose to not shuffle. Putrid Imp. Yeah. If we get Wasteland here, it's not the underworld unless they also have Force of Will. If they do, they're better at the game than me. Ooh, that's nice. That plays around. In fact, I'm just going to slow roll this. I don't even care. I'm going to slow roll this so slow. No rush. Take it easy. We could have tried to go off there, but like if they had like days plus force, that would have been bad. And we drew a careful study. What was bad there was that we didn't draw a second land, which was what we were looking for. That was really what we were wanting here. But I mean, you can't have it all. They probably have Orcish Bowmasters. Not a card I'm super afraid of. I am not going to crack the Lion's Eye Diamond here, however, because I don't want to discard the bridge from below and play into a potential Orcish Bowmasters, exiling my bridges. Because if I hit a Narcomoeba and a Cabal Therapy, I can play around Bowmasters targeting itself. There's the Force. I am going to flashback looting here, I think. They have days as well, they have days as well. If they have Bowmasters target itself, it's annoying, but like really fine in the grand scheme of things. Alright, what could be in their hand then? Reanimate? Brainstorm? Oh, a bunch of lands. Okay. Alright. That's fine by me. Underground Sea. Oh wait, I knew one of their cards in hand was a land, didn't I? Or did I not? Maybe I didn't. Because they played an underground zoo. So they can crack. Okay. They scoop it up. Sure. Oh, all going well. All going well. Alright, playing for the 5-0. This is what I mean. Remember what I was saying? You draw the gemstone mine and you're annoyed. You're like, damn, I wish that was a city brass. But this is a keep. This is a keep. This is bad against Wasteland and against Days, but it is actually a keep. Because we are on the draw and we can draw into any land. Though this is spooky. This is spooky. Because this makes our hand significantly worse. Take Brainstorm. That's a crazy... Well, Breakstorm, Breakthrough. Ah, that sucks. They took the blue card we can use for that. Discard these two. That makes me think it might be Doomsday, you know. Because I'm a sweaty nerd, and because this is the 5-0, I'm going to look if this person has any. Oh, Storm. Oh, okay. They are playing Storm. But that checks out, given that they took the breakthrough rather than a looting, because I feel like any fair blue deck would have taken the looting. They also run many copies of Veil of Summer, so I feel like we might get Veil of Summered here, but what can you do? Somewhat unfortunate here, not hitting any Poxwalkers and only one therapy, but we will deal with it, I guess. We are getting veiled, yeah! Woo! Yeah! I mean, what are we to do? But hopefully this is a matchup where we get to show off the... Jeez Louise, they have 4 ley lines in the sideboard. What the hell? What the hell? Ugh. Ad nauseum. I hope you die to your own ad nauseum. So far, it's going pretty well for us. Yeah, it's fine. Oh, that's not so good. Don't hit lions, I diamond. Why are they... Oh. Keep going. They have 4 Beseeches in the deck. There's no way they can win off of this. They played a land for turn, right? You'd have to get incredibly lucky off a Brainstorm. They basically have to find lions, I diamond. Oh wow. There are so many cards in the deck that kill them. Are we going to get away with this? Are we actually going to steal this game? Better lucky than good. Chrome Mox. Lion's Eye Diamond. Come on. And dub. What? They drew Chrome Mox LED. LED? No justice. Maybe they already had a Crow box or Lion's Eye Diamond in hand. Right. You got me. So they can be... I feel like this is not a good matchup for us, given they have 4 ley lines in the sideboard. Not a good matchup. Bring in Terror at the Peaks. Bring in Dread Return. Cut this, cut this, cut this. Cut this. Cut this. Seems pretty crazy. Yeah. The answer's ley line, and it has a Lion's Eye Diamond. The main question here is, if I hold this, I can get my Chain of Vapor veiled. I'm just going to cast it now. Yeah, that means they can potentially replay it, but I don't want to get my Chain veiled, which seems like a more likely thing to happen. But yeah, if they go like Dark Ritual, Lotus Petal, then it's like, you got me. You got me. Imprint the ley line, sure. Guess that's another reason not to do the play I did, but I really didn't want to get veiled there, so just kind of got to suck it up. 2, 3. Where are my Dread returns this league? I mean, I can't complain because we've been drawing well otherwise, but our Dread returns have not been showing up when we've been wanting them. Or bridges, for that matter. Yeah, there's the veil. Well, I was right to play around that, I guess. But, this is kind of a double-edged sword. This is kind of bad, but this is also kind of good because it discourages me from wasting my therapies. If we had a bridge next turn and a Dread return, we could potentially do something. Oh my god! Where are the Dread returns? Please! And thank you! Second veil. Oh, I should have swung. I missed out on 4 damage there. I'm throwing the game. That was actually bad. I was tilted. I should have swung for... I missed... Yeah, that might lose us the game. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully that doesn't lose us the game. That'd be a sad way to lose. I think we're very dead here. Realistically speaking. Infernal, crack, Lion's Eye Diamond, crack Lion's Eye Diamond. Beseech, Gaia's Will. That seems like lethal. I've not done the maths. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, Infernal 5, Beseech 6, 7, 8. The one you sack 9. Cast Beseech again. Oh yeah, you'll have enough mana. Yeah, if they have Beseech, we're dead. I mean, if they can get to Beseech and cast it, we are dead as a dodo. Sad, but I mean, look, they drew well. Games won. and games 2. So I'm not going to be horrendously upset if we lose the 5-0 to this. Yeah, no shuffle, we gotta be dead here. Oh, maybe they got another veil. Please! I just want a Dread return. I beg of you. Even if we had anger in the deck, it wouldn't have done anything. What could their card be? Dark Ritual? There's Beseech. Beseech the Mirror. We have used all 4 therapies in our deck, and we have hit 0 bridges for the top 37 cards. It is not looking good. I was almost going to name Beseech there, but it didn't seem to make much sense to name Beseech there, if you know what I mean. Though maybe I should have named Beseech. I was like, what could they have put onto, like, if I was like, oh, if they found Beseech off the Ponder, they would. But yeah, realistically, they probably had the Beseech in hand, but didn't have the 3rd black mana. No shuffle. Where are the Dread returns? Even if we had anger, I mean, one, we have no lands. But ignoring the fact we had no lands, we couldn't do anything here anyway. It's such a joke. Really hoping that missing 4 damage doesn't. What on earth is going on? We even found the last Narcomoeba. So we've done 3 less damage than we should have here. So we'd be killing them next turn if I'd have done it correctly. But I didn't do it correctly, so missed out on 3 damage. Might well end up costing us the game. This has been a very weird game. We need to hit double. Oh, this is just us dead, right? Lion's Eye Diamond. Okay, me missing out on the 3 damage didn't matter. They're going to Beseech now. But yeah, the Terror of the Peak, if we had hit 1 Dread Return there and not hit, we couldn't kill with Terror of the Peaks. So maybe Terror of the Peaks is just worse than Doomscar Titan. I've been testing Terror of the Peaks out, but as I've said, I've yet to kill anyone with Terror of the Peaks. Hilariously, because situations like this keep happening, where I'm like, oh, I have everything I need, and then I just don't find Dread Return, or I just don't find Terror of the Peaks. Like I'll be like, oh, I've got 2 Dread Returns in my graveyard. I haven't hit a single Ox or a single Terror. Or I'll be in situations where I'm like, oh, I've got Terror, not Ox, but I've got no Dread Returns like right now. Yeah, the opponent's just going through the motions here. There is like 0 way we're not dead. Realistically speaking. Yeah, Beseech. They're going for a line that's playing around Grave Hate, but they don't even need to. because we've got none, because they know all the cards in our hand. Okay, that's kind of a frustrating way to lose out on a 5-0, but we dredged badly, our opponent drew well. Sometimes that's Magic the Gathering. The really upsetting thing is that that would have been a back-to-back 5-0s, because the last Legacy League I played before this one, I played like other formats in between, but the last Legacy League I played before this one was a 5-0. So with this exact 75. So I can't be disappointed. The deck ran well. Our opponents did make some misplays, but we also made some good plays ourselves. Right. Let's discuss this. What went well? What went poorly? What went well? Leyline of Sanctity. There should definitely be a second copy in the sideboard, I think, after that league. Playing against that Saga deck. I don't know if we want 3 against that deck. It's possible we want 3 against that deck. Seemed really good. What else was good? Portable Hole, actually. That was really good in the matchup we drew it. Felt really nice to have that. Pick Your Poison was not as good. The kind of an awkward thing about Pick Your Poison is that it can't remove Dragon's Rage Channeler until it's flipped, which is kind of annoying. Other things that went poorly in the league, Dread Return. Didn't see a Dread Return. I think we cast Dread Return once in like game 1, and we didn't even need it. Where are our Dread Returns? Kind of crazy. Hogak for chilling in the sideboard. Ashen Rider for being kind of useless. Never got... no, it did get brought in against Depths, actually, but we never got to reanimate it. Possibly should have been Terror of the Peaks in that game. Terror of the Peaks for being bad, I think, overall. Like, thinking back to the situations where we could have had Terror of the Peaks, I feel like maybe Doomscar Titan was just better. Like, definitely in that game there, after we'd used up all of our therapies and we just wanted to end the game, Doomscar Titan would have ended the game. I don't think Terror of the Peaks would have ended the game unless we dredged into both Dread Returns on the next dredge. Because we had no way to get any creatures into play after reanimating the Terror of the Peaks. Now, interestingly, the other card that sometimes gets talked about is Flayer of the Hatebound. Flayer of the Hatebound would have won that game if we had hit. Would it have won that game? They'd have been on 7. If I hadn't missed the 3 damage with the Poxwalkers, which ended up not mattering, but if I had done that, they'd have been on 4, and then Flayer would have won, even with no therapies. I think all of them are kind of bad if you've got no therapies left in the deck, to be brutally honest. I think maybe Doomscar Titan is just the target. The other target that's potentially good is Immodane's Recruiter. However, Immodane's Recruiter is more hard castable because it's 2 and a red, but it's 2 less power, both of which are better than Flamekin Zealot. Flamekin Zealot's unplayable. Don't play Flamekin Zealot. Your odds of getting to 4 mana with 3 that doesn't include 2 blue is bad. Don't play Flamekin Zealot. I think Doomscar Titan might just be the best target after that. But yeah, so this is what I've been messing around with. This has felt super consistent, super good. The ratios have felt nice. The double Ox has felt really good, like really good. With Poxwalkers, like Ox return Poxwalkers just feels gross every single time you get to do it. Because then you don't even have to sack the Ox to the Poxwalkers, to the therapy. Yeah. It's just been feeling good. It's just been feeling good. I really like this configuration. I kind of like the 2 Ox, 2 breakthrough. Dread Returns felt good with the sideboard plan. Yeah. Thank you all for watching. Oh, actually, I'm going to have to add this in the front as well, but I'm going to add this at the end as well. I have been streaming on twitch.tv. I'm a twitch.tv streamer. My stream schedule is completely random when I can be bothered. I stream Legacy, pretty much every stream I've done, I've streamed Dredge. So follow me on Twitch. My Twitch name is the_daddy. The daddy. I am the daddy on twitch.tv. Follow me there. I've been streaming more regularly than I have been making YouTube videos. I've probably streamed about 4 or 5 times since my last YouTube video. So if you wanna see extra bonus content and come chill with me, say hi to your favorite insane Dredge player, follow me on twitch.tv. As always, thank you all for watching. Remember, if you enjoyed it, you could always do the YouTube algorithm stuff. I just do this for fun. This isn't a career. This is just my hobby. I enjoy playing Legacy and I enjoy playing Dredge. And I want to give back to the community. So thank you all for enjoying my content. And peace.